I guess I sound hostile because like I've made a mistake around this issue before, and like I'm just seeing somebody make the same mistake I did. I'm not saying that this isn't that this is not true, that we know it's all fake. Seeing this all like happen again from the outside is kind of frustrating. Andrew Callaghan, who is from Channel 5, he is in my opinion, a really good reporter. He does a lot of what almost like Gonzoian journalism, like going down, talking to everyday people. I really appreciate that type of journalism. His new documentary, really good, very good. It's very, very good. I think he's done a lot of good journalism. But recently, some people have come forward with sexual misconduct allegations against Andrew, including saying that he basically was like forcing a girl to perform oral sex on him and other things. And so I wanted to look at the evidence, some of the evidence that has been presented so far. If you guys have anything else, you can throw it my way. But I also want to say, as far as I know, Andrew has yet to respond to this. Also, more information could have come out in the future. So we're just going to be looking at what is already out. And also, I'm asking everybody to kind of suspend judgment for the time being, unless of course, crucial evidence or substantive evidence is provided, because I don't like working off of hearsay, definitely when it comes to something that could ruin someone's career, and evidence is important. You can choose to believe somebody on an individual level, but if we're talking about the type of things like ending careers, making people lose movie deals and all this money, I think evidence is very important. So let's look at what this person put forward to make this allegation against Andrew Callaghan.
I never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking because I've tried a couple different times and haven't been able to get my point across, but I don't like seeing abusers get platforms. And my abuser, Andrew Callaghan, also known as All Gas No Breaks, Channel 5, and whatever his new HBO show's called, I forget, has been plastered all over my news feed, and I've tried to come to him person to person and try to get him to take accountability for what he did, but his version of what happened the night that he assaulted me is so skewed. So I will tell you that he did eventually get consent. And that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. He told me he needed a place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever, and I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up. He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of. And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him after the situation. He wouldn't leave my house the next morning. And then as time went on and I processed things, I thought, you know what, just because eventually I said, okay, wwhatever, because I was trying to just get the whole night over with so that it could be morning so that he could leave, it doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. So I told him no so many times prior to this. I said, I'm tired, I'm not really feeling it. I came up with any excuse that I possibly could to just get him off of me. And he still found a way to coerce me into things that I didn't want to do. And this is really hard for me to say. I never thought I would come forward, but it's even more hard to have to relive the trauma that I endured every single day by seeing this man as a social justice warrior, as someone who cares about human rights, get a platform. You shouldn't be supporting him. And at the end of the day, like, I've told close friends of mine, I've tried coming out about this before, and he texted me saying that it basically ruined his life and that his life was over now because of things that I said. And other women have come forward to me, but this is my first time publicly talking about it on a platform like TikTok, because I hope it gets traction. I hope people listen to me. I hope that if something similar has happened to you, that you know that that's not your fault. It wasn't my fault what happened to me, just because I eventually caved. This is so hard to do, but I eventually, I was really hoping that he would eventually take accountability, but he just texted me this skewed version of what he thought had happened. And in that moment, it wasn't fight or flight, it was freeze. I froze, and I couldn't control my body anymore. Not to mention, he got me really drunk that night. He was trying to buy me all kinds of the best kinds of tequila at the dive bar we were at. And a lot of people don't believe me. I've got receipts, I've got photos of us, I've got text messages, but you shouldn't need that. You should believe me, and you should stop supporting Andrew Callaghan. Take away his platform. He doesn't deserve it.
I am very sorry if this comes off as callous. I say this as somebody who's had, even like rape happen to me. Pretty serious stuff. You cannot end a segment where you are making accusations against something very serious and advocate for them to lose their job, as she's doing, and then say, I have evidence, I'm just not going to show it because you don't need it because my word's enough. Take away his job. That not only is not fair, because this means that anyone can accuse anyone of anything and then no evidence needs to be provided because everybody's word just needs to be taken to face value. Not only is that dangerous, but it's also just not fair to Callaghan. It's just not fair to anyone to expect them to just say that somebody should lose their job over what is essentially just your accusation. No like photos, videos, DNA proof, text message admissions, audio admission, like nothing. Like nothing. That's super unfair to the people. And I understand, like, this could have happened. Absolutely, this could have happened. And if it did, it is unbelievably horrible. But you can't just expect a bunch of strangers online to commit to somebody losing their job just based on your accusation alone. And she says there's other people who have come forward. Present them. Let's see them. If they don't want to come forward, then there's nothing we can do about it. Because we can't say, oh, I know somebody who said something awful about person B, but I can't, no evidence can be provided. I can't tell you any of the details of the story. It's so horrible. That's not fair to anyone. That's not fair at all. So we need more information to prove this. And so you cannot say you don't need the evidence. That is a terrible way to operate in the court of public opinion.
In regards to the whole Andrew Callaghan situation, this is the last time that I'm going to be talking about it. A friend of mine texted and asked if I was okay because she saw my post on Reddit. That wasn't me that posted on Reddit. I'm getting a lot of hate. You guys seem to need receipts. Someone speaking up about their story isn't enough. So
Yes, it is not. I mean, it's very, on a personal level, if you want somebody to believe, that's one thing. But if you're asking the entire public to not only believe you, but believe you without evidence enough that somebody else should lose the job that they've worked so hard for, as well as everybody who works for them then losing their job and completely throwing them into the garbage in the court of public opinion, that is something that's going to require more than just what is essentially a story. It's very serious. They're demanding consequences for something they didn't provide evidence of. I know it definitely could have happened, definitely sad, but this almost felt like an accusation that somebody would make up in their mind for how public accusations go, to make a kind of straw man public accusation. I hate when people come out with no evidence, but it's happening. Let's continue.
I'm gonna share with you some, evidence that I was with him that night. I didn't have a camera set up in my bedroom.
So, evidence that she was with him that night. That's something that's better than the nothing. But that just proves that she was with him. Not that she's misrepresenting what happened or that Callaghan did do that. That is something, though. That is something.
So I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. And if you don't, that's okay. This is the last time I'm ever gonna talk about this. And I've made my TikTok private, so if anyone wants to share what I'm saying with the people on Reddit, feel free to do that, but I can't mentally handle this anymore. This was Andrew and I.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in St. Pete. Who should I kick it with? Me, you're home? I'm solo, just walking around. Yes, I just walked in the door. What part of St. Pete? North. Text me and then posted no.
Agreeing to hang out when he was in St. Pete.
Okay, so this is evidence they were together.
This was us the night at the bar. We went into the bathroom to take a photo because this bar, the bathroom has its own Instagram page, and it's just something people do at that bar. Also, like I said many times before, I trusted him, you know, and people are blaming me for trusting him, and I did, you know, and it is what it is. This is a comment from someone who I've been speaking with about what happened to her. This is
okay. Wait. Let's go back.
This is
Burns is an immoral,
well, morally corrupt, bankrupt man. Hey, Couchman, 1111. Thank you for the tier 1 beats up for 13 months. I appreciate it. Bud. Andrew sexually assaulted me as well. I have previously been involved with him, but only when I was extremely drunk. I confronted him about it, and he invited me to dinner to apologize. Then he assaulted me in my car. I had to physically kick him out. Thank you for sharing. Fuck him. I finally came out about this yesterday on my Insta because I cannot fucking stand this dude popping up on my TV as a social justice warrior. I've also heard many similar stories from others. So this is another person who, I mean, I don't even know their name. I just see a picture of them. This could,
Burns
again, I
is
hate to
an
say
immoral,
this, but
morally corrupt,
it's also
bankrupt
true.
Man.
There's no evidence provided by this person. I don't know who this person's name is. I guess I just kind of see what they kind of look like. Like, I don't know their relationship with Andrew. Like, I don't know any of the finer details. This is quite frankly just a internet reply. Like, she says she has had conversations with her behind closed doors, but like, again, all that she's provided is evidence that she met Andrew, nothing else. Goop Stero, thank you so much for the tier 1. To Antron Grimes, I appreciate that. These are first gifts up on the channel. Hey man, it's a beautiful thing to start. Giving me money, that is. You know, it's beautiful to give me money. Thank you for the money, though.
with about what happened to her. This is a message I got about a year ago from someone who said that he has been known to associate with underage girls. This is the story.
Wait, what? Yes, of course. I know it sounds cheesy to say, but you're very brave for even reaching out to people because it's really hard to do. I can ask some people I know if they would be willing to talk to you, and I give them your Insta. Also, my friend has mutual friends with his camera guy, and I basically heard that he was sleeping with girls who look very young and live with their parents. So 99% underage while on tour. She replied, disgusting. This isn't evidence of anything. This is a person who's friends with somebody, who's friends with somebody else, who knows this camera guy, and that from that interaction, they know that they've seen or heard that they've seen people who looked young sleep with him. This is quite literally hearsay and rumor. This right here is literally nothing else than hearsay and rumor. I don't know, like 99% underage. Like, is that an estimate if a young person is underage? I'm sorry, but young people in home ownership or apartment ownership is not like 99% of people. There are a lot of people who are 18, 19, or 20 and still live with their parents. Like, that could 100% still be the case. And they look young. That's not like, you can't base anything off of that. Like, this I don't even know why. I don't want to be hostile because this is a very serious accusation, of course. But like, I don't even know why she would present this. Like, I think she's just kind of like, anything I have, no matter how lack of, you know, credibility it has or how little evidence it has to back it, I'm just throwing it out the wall, you know, to see kind of like what sticks, like anything. Thank you for the 200 bits, Soda Dash. Holy shit, come to Dylan Burns' stream and his chat is defending Andrew. Bruh, it looks very bad. He's got a bunch of allegations that appear credible. We are watching the video and we are 4 minutes and 34 seconds in, and this person has yet to provide really any evidence outside of them personally interacting with the person. Let's keep watching. I'm giving my opinion as we watch it, okay?
Has been known to associate with underage girls. This is the story from the same person of her experience. You can pause to read any of
Okay, let's read. Pretty much all of them ever had uncomfortable situations with him, been assaulted, or know someone who has. The situation that I was in at the party probably 3 years ago, and I thought he was cool at first, and we had a pretty good convo. And then we basically went into a room and kind of isolated from everyone. He was really pressuring me to go into his house, said no multiple times, and he kept pushing and pushing. And you know, he's a very tall guy, and I'm only 5'4", and I was pretty drunk, obviously, because party, duh. And I feel like he was blocking the doorway, so we were in there for a little while, and luckily my friend came to check on me.
of this stuff. This is about how he was canceled on his French Quarter confession show when he went to Loyola because of the same sorts of allegations. You can pause to...
Okay, one second. Can't. Of course, also, I'm still trying to gather more details, but I was a few years ahead of him at Loyola in New Orleans, and I've heard he got canceled pretty bad because it was kept on the down low. But that's why he was replaced on his show French Quarter Confessions, and he didn't speak much about that in New Orleans anymore. Okay, well, again, this is just a internet post. Like, I don't know what more to say. I mean, let's keep watching.
So when he went to Loyola because of the same sorts of allegations. You can pause to read that. Just another story.
Hey, I just want to let you know I went to school with Andrew. He pulled the same shit with me and a friend of mine. He frequently Airbnb listed his place and did the I need somewhere to stay tactic, which feels very intentional. He also used to try to tell people he was on a male birth control injection. What? I'm very sorry this happened to you, too. I know how gross it feels to watch people politics.
He's got a list of women who he gets to give them head.
Someone told me that he told them. Someone told me that he told them. So this is 2 people removed now. He has a list of women that he gets to give him head without reciprocating. Like, truly disgusting. Also, maybe TMI uncomfortable, but he thinks the clitoris is inside of the vagina. It's actually embarrassing for him that he's this gross. We shouldn't feel bad because he sucks. Again, like, this is an internet post. Like, again, this all could be true, but like a lot of this is hearsay. Like, I know a person who knows a person, or somebody told me this. Like, this is hearsay. Now, the direct confessions are like direct accusations. I think that is more substantial, but it still hasn't given any substantive proof. It is still all accusations, right? And I also don't know about the reciprocate list. Like, that's weird, but I guess I would need to know the specifics behind it.
Give him another instance of sexual assault. And I'm keeping these people private, and they've all consented to me sharing their stories. And I'm doing so because I've already put my face out there. I'm already getting all the hate.
But you nor them have presented any evidence. These are all, unironically, these are all just blocks of text. This is very cruel, what I'm about to say. Besides that first person, where you don't see their name and they say they're being private and all you showed is a photo. Like, this, and this is really mean to say, I guess, but like, this is all just anonymous text. She could have just wrote these all up or made accounts to like DM with her. Like, we have no clue. Like, actually, like, that's, again, I would even say that's probably not even likely, but like, there's no evidence provided here. These are just all accusations.
It is what it is at this point.
Like, you want to know what would be really actually like substantive evidence? Texts with Andrew. Like, text with Andrew where she confronts him and like we see his version of events, what he lays out. Like, I would be, and like how long they've talked about this. And them talking about this years ago and stuff like that. That would be the stuff that would be interesting. That would be like the first, like, oh, we're building something here. So far, this is just accusations.
At this point, there's another story.
Hi, just wanted to say I'm in response to your most recent post. I've also heard through the grapevine of Andrew begging girls for sex till they said yes. What does that even mean? Heard through the grapevine? That is, you could not make a better definition for the word hearsay than hearing through the grapevine. And I have a mutual who went on a date with him. He used the same excuse. Fall out with the crew. They needed a place to stay. She said, no, you have money. Pay for hotel. And then he got pissed as fuck. Okay, well, that doesn't... Okay, whatever. It still is all just hearsay. Like, it's just going to be the same thing I'm saying. Hearsay or accusation.
More people saying that they've heard about this before.
People went to a neighboring high school as him at the same time he was in high school. Not the first time hearing something like this. Receipts, somebody obviously asks. I mean, I don't have any, lol. Never claimed to. I'm just inclined to believe her because I've heard people say sketchy things about him over the years. This is all hearsay. Every single piece of this is hearsay. All of this is hearsay or accusations.
Another story.
Another story. Andrew Callaghan and I are in the same age. He went to a high school in Seattle near mine at the same time as me, so I know a lot of the same people as him. He also frequented local kickbacks and spotties, basically parties with jungle juice in the park, and was doing some rapping stuff back then, so a lot of people knew him. Pretty common knowledge in Seattle social circle that he's committed sexual assaults. This is still just a... Whatever. I don't know his victims personally, but I have friends who do. To my knowledge, alcohol and coercion has been a pattern. He knows knows locally to a lot of people as a predator. You have my consent to share this. But not the consent to share their identity or, like, them coming forward with, like, evidence that they're from the area and, like, went to the same high school. Like, and...
My inbox is flooded with people saying that they're proud of me for speaking up because they're too scared to, so I'm sharing their stories for them. This is absolutely taking a huge toll on my mental health. I can see that a lot of you don't want to believe women when they come forward about things.
It's not that we don't want to believe women. It's not a good thing to take away somebody's job based on accusations and hearsay. That's not good. Okay? That's not a good standard to set. Like, I don't know what else I should say. Like, am I being cruel? Am I cruel? You do sound hostile. I guess I sound hostile because, like, I've made a mistake around this issue before, and, like, I'm just seeing somebody make the same mistake I did. Like, I'm not saying that this isn't that this is not true, that we know it's all fake. But, like, seeing this all, like, happen again from the outside is kind of frustrating. And so, if we're gonna... It's one thing to be like, if you were her friend, she told this to you, and you believed her, and didn't want to interact with Andrew, didn't want to support her, stuff like that, and she was saying that privately, like, that's one thing. To her friend, like that's one thing. But if you're gonna come forward and ask the public to throw this man's career away, to ruin him, which is, if this was found to be credible, is what it would do, and would be probably fine doing. Not for the high school stuff, but for the adult stuff. I think there's, like, an age that needs to be talked about. Then, like you're gonna need evidence outside of just, like, Twitter posts and TikTok posts that are all anonymous, except for yours, which you backed up after saying you didn't want to provide evidence by saying, hey, look at me, I was at an event with Andrew. I went somewhere with him. I don't think that would be fair to end somebody's career over that. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying that? I know somebody earlier was like, I can't believe Dylan's chat is defending Andrew. We're not even defending Andrew outside of saying that we need evidence to take away his livelihood. I heard there's a lot, so it might get better. I wouldn't judge yet. Well, if there's these many accusations and he's this, like, over the top with this type of behavior, then, like, there should be evidence somewhere, right? There has to be something that can substantiate this. If he's doing this often and is texting these many people trying to do this strategy, right? That they're, like, putting forward, there has to be something. Has there been any updates to this that I am not aware of where more evidence was provided? Does anyone know? A couple of them must have text with Andrew. Absolutely. Hell, this woman said she had text with Andrew. I wonder if any of those texts being provided to the public could be helpful. I wonder if Andrew could come forward and offer up his text conversation with this woman as well. If Andrew will do that. I wonder what Andrew will say in response. All I'm saying is that so far, enough evidence has not been provided, that I've seen here at least, unless somebody has links they want to link me to be like, Dylan, you're missing this vital piece of information. We have not seen enough evidence to justify the ending of Andrew Callaghan's career, which is what would happen. She even said it. That is her explicitly stated goal, that like he loses his job. And if he did this, I understand. But we can't create a standard where we just, no evidence, just say this guy's career is over. That would be bad. And as somebody who is in the public eye, I would also not like that. I would not like it knowing how many people hate me. Not saying that this is the situation. If the standard was like, you just make an accusation against Dylan, Dylan's gonzo. Make an accusation against Vosh, Vosh gonzo. Like I feel like we need a higher standard than that. Even if the court of public opinion is not the same as a court of justice and law, and the standards of evidence don't need to be the same, there should still be some evidence. You're right, Dylan. I get where you're coming from. Let the smoke clear, but this does not look good. It does not look good for anyone when any accusation comes out against them, definitely of this severity, of something like this. So it doesn't look good from that. But if this is where it stopped, we couldn't really make any conclusions from this. We couldn't make any conclusions outside of one person made an accusation. Or possibly multiple people, depending upon the verification of, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So we're just going to have to wait for either more evidence to be provided, or, well, actually, no, that's really it. We just got to wait for more evidence to be provided. Like that, we just got to wait. Like, I know none of you guys would want this standard to be applied to you if somebody made an accusation against you. There's a lot of hearsay in this story, but this is a video of the girl who kicked him out of the car from the H3 Reddit. Wait, she said that she didn't make the Reddit post. Is this it? Is this the Reddit post she said she didn't make? Or, oh no, this is a different woman. This is another woman coming forward.
So, I told him I would take him home because he lived close by, but that I did not want to have sex in my car at all. I did not want to have sex with him again, ever. And after we got to my car, he started advancing towards me, started touching my inner thigh, and pulled me forward and started kissing my neck. So I really couldn't move out of the position. He was holding me like tightly. And he proceeded to put his hand down my pants. I told him to stop. I told him to get off of me multiple times. He tried to put my hand down his pants, and I was, fighting against him during this, told him to please stop. And he said, you could at least suck my dick. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. Get out of my car. At that point, it was, I'm not taking you home anymore. Get the fuck out of my car. And he just got mad, really. He was mad that I would even say that, but at the same time, he was laughing at me and continued to...
To be clear, what she has described here is sexual assault. Like, that is what she just described here. If this accusation is true, this is sexual assault.
to kiss me and was like, "Are you serious? Come on, come on." Yeah, it was not fun. So I told him to get out of my car again. He wouldn't get out, and he said, "You could at least take me home." So I realized at this point I would not be able to physically push him out of my car. So I started driving quickly and erratically down the road. I pulled into a busier street and I stopped abruptly, thinking, like maybe someone will realize something is wrong, or if someone is honking at me, like he'll feel uncomfortable and want to leave the car. But I guess it did make him uncomfortable that I did that, and I told him to get the fuck out of my car. And he was like, "Can I at least get a kiss goodbye?" And I said, "Fuck no, get the fuck out." He left. Never spoke to him or saw him again.
So this is a very, not only harrowing, but scary story. Knowing that, like, he was like, "You're gonna drive me home," like, basically. Like, you're just pressuring, and like, this is very bad. Very bad. A lot of the stories that have been put forward are bad. And these seem to be two women who are willing to speak on camera. When it comes to like the story from high school and like the stories, like all the literal hearsay, I feel like unless more is provided there, that can almost like just be completely like disregarded as hearsay. These two, though, are like, they're making accusations that I think need to be looked into further. And this doesn't look good for Andrew. It doesn't. But still, no evidence has been provided. And I'm still gonna hold my judgment until more evidence comes out, because these stories are very serious. And if true about Andrew Callaghan, his career in media and in the public eye is over, because no one is gonna want to give him influence over any project where he hires staff if this is how he's behaving. Definitely the stuff if he's using his camera crew as an excuse, as some of these stories alleged. Not the stories that were publicly made by the two people who showed their face, but the like Reddit DM, Twitter DM, like stories without a face, without a name, and without a date, without any evidence. So I would say that I am very interested in more evidence coming out, because if women have been victimized by Andrew Callaghan, obviously those women deserve justice, and Andrew Callaghan should not be in a position where he can have influence over those types of people. But we also need to be fair, not only to Callaghan, but to all the people that would come later, and making sure that there's a standard for evidence if we're going to be ruining people's career. So I guess we just gotta wait for more evidence to come out. That's it. Many victims will never report for psychological reasons. That is true. That is true. So I guess that's really it. That was a concrete story in a public space with many avenues that it can be verified or denied through. That is true. Like text that she could provide, like the other person provided. Whether if she ever tried to, she said she never spoke or talked to him again, so I guess there's no evidence of like them reviewing it afterwards. There would have to be like people that she told maybe that like years beforehand that could come forward and verify the story. Stuff like that. Sorry it happened to these women. Like throughout the whole debacle, was there anyone who had anything of substance or just a lot of, well, I don't have anything but? The most that has been provided was a picture of one of the accusers with Andrew and text messages proving that they have hung out. That is the most that has been provided. Obviously, that's not a lot, really. Basically every single person who knows me right now could provide evidence of me hanging out with them, maybe a picture with me with them right now. Like, anyone who's met anyone could provide that level of proof. So that's why I don't think it's enough. Obviously, my suspicion of Andrew being guilty is going to increase if more and more women publicly come out like this, instead of a lot of the hearsay that the first accuser was basing their argument on. And my confidence in Andrew will continue to dip if that happens, as would in any case, like happened with Bill Cosby. I feel you, Dylan, but what would we be implying if not true? That these women all have vendetta against Andrew? Like, why would these women come out on this? I don't know, but people have lied before. People can misremember events, where maybe they're not lying, but they remember the events very differently than how Andrew remembers, or how they interpreted the event. I'm not saying they're liars. We don't know anything. But Andrew is an extremely popular guy, and I'm not going to say we should throw away the entirety of anyone's career based on accusations and hearsay. Just not a good idea. It's a bad standard to set. Thought on this take, let's... Holy shit, the Andrew Callaghan accusations are actually really bad. I went over them in a video. It'll be out soon. I expected to have more to say about how to trust and verify, but the allegation against Andrew is so bad, so numerous, so credible that there really isn't much to say. I guess it's all possible he could come out with a statement that magically absolves him all guilt, but I really don't see it happening here. When he says the allegations against are so numerous and so credible, there's only like 2 accusations that I really feel we could call credible, or like credible in the way that like it doesn't look like it's fake, is the original woman and like the last one. All the DMs and all the messages, all of that could be very easily faked. I'm sad to say that, but it can. The public, when you come out and you put a face to a name, there's a lot more risk, and that's why it's a lot less likely that somebody's faking something. Definitely says a lot of it was, again, hearsay. But I mean, this is something that Andrew's gonna have to respond to. And I have no reason to disbelieve at the very, I mean the first person saying I don't need to provide evidence, that's a little suspect if I'm being for real. I understand why they said it, but like I feel like they should have expected people to ask evidence. The second person, I think I don't really have any suspicions of, besides the basic fact that, again, no evidence, physical or otherwise, has been presented publicly. Here is his video. He said he would release it on YouTube.
I'm not exactly new to seeing streamers.
I don't know if I want to review the entirety of it. Let's see. Is there anything he reviewed that I didn't review? That is my main thing. If he came to this conclusion off of something else. No, he did not. Okay. No, he didn't even watch the other. He didn't even watch the other one. Okay, so I think yeah, no, we have no. I don't think we have anything. I don't know if I would agree with the word "so credible." I disagree. The best thing he could do for himself is completely ignore the allegations. Even acknowledging them will just make things work. Apologizing will make things work. Denying it will make things worse. Wait, no, he can't just ignore this. That's a bad idea. It's not only bad, it's also irresponsible. Like, if it was just one anonymous post on the internet, okay, whatever. But this are 2 people putting a face to putting their face out there, on top of all the other, not only hearsay, but other accusations that one of them took in, even if they're just in text. I think he should respond to it. He can't just ignore it, because it's not like nobody's paid attention. Destiny noticed, I noticed, Vosh noticed, people are noticing. Not only just randos on the internet, but like people with big audiences. It's only a matter of time until like Andrew has to respond to this. If he doesn't, it's not only like bad that he's not responding for his image, I think, but it's also probably wrong, because people are going to have questions. People already have questions. Bosch is of the mind that several women wouldn't come out for no reason, therefore credible. I mean, so far it's 2. So far there's 2 people who have really come forward. That's it. Everything else is blocks of text. Like, it could be true, but how do we know? Again, I'm not saying that these women aren't trustworthy. All I'm saying is just evidence would be appreciated. So far it's 2. That clip won't age well. If I said so far it's 2, so far it means as of right now, that will age perfectly fine. Hassan noticed, and Hassan and Andrew have been friendly. Even a week ago, Andrew and Hassan were hanging out in person. Hassan would confront Andrew on this if they ever hung out again. Maybe, I don't know. Because I don't know Hassan personally. I don't know if he would, like, confront Andrew over it, or if he would be, like, so business focused that he wouldn't. Which would be bad. But I don't know. Like, I have no clue. Has Hassan even acknowledged this? What has Hassan said about this? I'm actually very curious. Because Hassan is friends with Andrew Callaghan. So I wonder what he said. Hassan, Andrew Callaghan allegation. Okay, here we are. 3 hours ago. This seems like the one to watch.
Andrew Callaghan of Channel 5 is who I'm talking about. There was one person who came out and originally
now it seems like 2, but originally it was 1.
Made statements about Andrew. The first ever the first allegation was, hold on, let me see if I can find it, and I'm going to issue a trigger warning here. I never actually saw the first accusation. Like, I don't know what the first one was, but I only saw that. I saw a compilation of, like, people saying, "Oh, he's a bad guy, and here's why." And it was like this compilation that I saw that I thought was a little ridiculous, because there were parts of it where it was literally like Andrew Callaghan, I heard from a friend of a friend, was like hooking up with young women with family members. However, there was some serious ones in between. Okay. At first I thought maybe it's like a Aziz Ansari style situation.
So far, Hassan's take is pretty good. I like that originally. He's like, look, there's some of these that are just hearsay. And I can't give that really much credibility, if at all. I like that he's starting with that. I think that's really fair to Andrew. And we should be fair to Andrew. We should be. We should not just immediately assume all the worst all the time about him.
But one of the people that actually came out, I believe it was Moldy Freckle, who said Andrew
was the woman who just recorded the video, I believe.
As well, I'd previously been involved with him, but only when I was extremely drunk. This one was the only one out of like all of the random things that were compiled that made it that seemed very severe.
True. So far, I mean, besides the first woman's accusation, which she said she wouldn't provide evidence for, which again did undermine her. But besides the first woman's accusation, it is basically her and this woman. So far, yeah, Hassan seems basically on point.
Okay. I'm from Seattle. Know many people common with him. You are not the first person. I've heard about the story happening too. Went to a neighboring high school as him. Same thing. He was in high school. Not the first time I'm hearing something about like this. Okay, so some of this stuff is just like, it's a complete hearsay, right? But this one was the solid one. This one was previously dating, I believe, Andrew. And this video in and of itself is like a very serious one. There were 2 videos from her. The first was allegations. The second contained text messages and other anonymous allegations that responded to her post with. Yeah. Obviously, don't dismiss any victims. Don't dismiss anyone coming out with their stories. I always say, false allegations are rare, super rare, and it is infinitely more likely that someone
that is true. False accusations are rare. I'm just usually of the mind that I'd rather see an innocent person go free than get every single guilt. There's not evidence. I do generally have that principle.
that comes out with allegations, it is infinitely more likely that someone comes out with allegations that is unnoticed, that goes unnoticed or vilified, than not. So this person This is the person that first came out. This video came out. From what I understand, she was upset. Here, I'll watch this.
Never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking.
Let's skip to where he starts talking again. We've already watched this.
It doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. So I told him no so many times prior to.
Oh nope. Going? Okay, here we go.
Just get him off of me.
So both Andrew and her, from what I understand, were extremely drunk when this happened. And that's why it's like this one originally, I don't know any of the I don't know the exact details of what happened here.
And
this is like one of the first times that I'm hearing about it, other than the fact that I only looked at Reddit pretty much. Like I didn't even see this video itself. And that's still not consent ultimately. Not, you know, it's still coercive in nature if there's like pressure involved. Even during,
don't pressure people to have sex with you, right? This is something that I know a lot of young guys who actually had to learn this as they grew up through middle school and high school, where their hormones are kicking in and they don't really know the ethics behind sex and they're not understanding. And it's actually like a real problem in middle school and high school. A lot of people deal with this issue. And so I think it's a very important lesson to talk about, that not only is it bad to rape people and sexually assault people, but pressuring for sex needs to be more included in sex ed. Like, not only is rape and all this other stuff, but don't pressure for sex. I know it feels like it might feel like an obvious thing to say, but definitely young men like developing and like going through hormones, not all of them necessarily understand all the ethics of sex. And I do think it's something that needs to be talked about.
The Me Too shit, like we talked about this, it is, of course, it's incredibly common. It is, and I say this all the time, whether it's someone I know, someone I don't know, this is a consistent thing that I mention all the time. This happens as a consequence of, one, the ways that everyone is taught on how gender dynamics are supposed to work, even though it is literally wrong, okay? It's a product of the patriarchy. It is social conditioning. And then also on top of that, you pile on the gray nature of interpersonal communication and dynamics, especially in a situation like in a non-platonic romantic situation. All of a sudden, it's basically a powder keg. So whenever I see stuff like this, like I try to be as understanding as possible. But you know, this is not uncommon. I think that what Andrew was doing, I didn't see this one, but I did see the other one, was pestering. Like it seems like in this circumstance is a person that he was involved with originally. Like they dated, I believe. And the long and short of it basically is that she was offering him a ride. And he was like trying to hook up with her, trying to kiss her in the neck, trying to hook up with her. And even like went so far as to like pull her hand down his pants. I'll let her explain it.
I told him I would take him home because he lived close by, but that I did not want to have sex in my car at all. I did not want to have sex with him again, ever. And after we got,
we already watched this, so we're gonna do the same after,
I guess. It
and Matt even
this one, no, I think that there is a case to be made for this being like this one especially being assault. And at the
this one I think just straight up feels like, yeah, this one just straight up, her accusation is accusing him of sexual assault. This is, as she describes it, sexual assault.
He's harassment for sure. It is, I mean,
he's like trying to kiss her neck and like putting his hand on her leg. Like that is sexual assault. You're crossing her like bodily boundaries without consent.
biggest bummer here is not that like I'm friends with Andrew or I know Andrew and that you know this that like someone that you like has done things. No, the biggest bummer here is the fact that like these people have been traumatized by these actions. Okay, like that is the, you know, keep your eyes on the prize, I guess, and be a little bit more understanding.
Was laughing at me and continued to try to kiss.
And
Would not be.
I think a lot of people like this usually speak up because they fear that when someone comes out, they usually fear that like this is repeat behavior. And that's the reason why they come out and speak out on things like this. Okay. So they want to prevent this from happening again. It's not like, I know that the immediate alternative is like, oh, this is a person who was scorned and that's why they're fucking coming out. And even if like one person, even if the original accusation is like that, the other people that are coming out in that situation are offering repeat, offering repetitive patterns, like pestering, legitimately, like regularly pestering. I'll wait for what Andrew's side of it is, but it does seem like this is pretty commonplace behavior.
so I think really, again, the first accusation on video and the second accusation on video are the two main ones that I think have the most credibility to them because we're putting face to names and they're not just blocks of text. Second one being probably the most detailed story and the one that seems to have the least blurriness around it. And it's for somebody who is reportedly his ex, and so there's some credibility to it. And I think we need to not only wait to see if more evidence is provided, the texts from this woman to Andrew, possibly, if that exists, the woman girlfriend, and the person who said they had receipts, but they just didn't need to post them. Now is the time to post them. Those receipts, that evidence is important. It's not only about being fair to Andrew, it's about being fair to everybody who comes after Andrew. It's about being fair to the public who you're asking to trust you. I'm not saying that these women are being dishonest. I'm just saying that if we have any court, even if it's just a court of public opinion, evidence is definitely important. We also do need to wait, as Hassan talked about, until we have a response from Andrew Callaghan. Because at the very least, we do owe him the ability to explain his side of the story. Even if it's literally just a lie or it's not true, like, we at least need to allow him to talk. At the very, very least. But so far, not looking good, man. I'm really scared to kind of learn the truth.